Hey, are you sick of dragging your hose around the yard? Put in an irrigation system, all DIY, using Rainbird and Rachio. I'll show you what I did, all next on Home Pro Hero. Now today, we're gonna go ahead and fill the lines up with water and test the system. But before I do that, I wanna show you how I built this thing 2 years ago. A professional, they wanted over $14,000 to put a sprinkler system in. No way I'm paying that. I did it myself, from start to finish, no help whatsoever. Stick around to the end, I'll tell you exactly how much it cost me to do it. First step was, I contacted Rainbird and found out they have a free service. You basically draw your house to scale like I did, and then they provide a detailed drawing of what to use to make the sprinkler system work around your home. Also included in the diagram is my water flow, and they make sure your sprinkler heads can handle the flow that you have available. On this property, I'm dealing with a well, no city water, but my well is really strong. I stuck with Rainbird because they're kind of known in the industry as being a pretty good company with pretty good products, but I'm sure there's other ones out there that work just as well. So my yard's kind of big. Obviously, I can't put sprinklers throughout the entire yard, but I definitely wanted to put sprinklers around the house part itself. So I had to buy 150 foot of 1-inch PVC pipe to lay the main feeder line from the house. The feeder line goes into each box. From the box, there's valves. The valves connect to a 1-inch poly pipe. PVC pipes, more firm and rigid. The poly pipe has some flex, easy to move around corners and curves. I had to rent a trencher at the local rental store to get me down below grade. It's a pretty easy process, thing made easy work of it. I only had to go down about a foot, so it wasn't like I was digging very deep. All my pipe was bought at Menards. When it came to the heads, the parts, all the fittings, I used the Sprinkler Warehouse. Great little company, never had a problem, got everything exactly the way I was supposed to get it. I ran over 200 feet of sprinkler wire. These wires connect to the valves that'll eventually connect to the controller. The controller I'm using is a Rachio. I think I said that right. It's an online controller. I never even touch the thing. It just sits on the wall with power connected to it. Everything's done on the app from the convenience of my phone, anywhere in the world. Each valve is what they consider a zone. Each zone has multiple heads based off of flow calculated by Rainbird. I only have 2 different types of heads in this yard. You can get a lot of different types of sprinkler heads, all different sizes, throws. So the installation of the sprinkler system was fairly easy. The hardest part was raking the dirt back into the trenches and grassing over the top. Of course, I went through a lot of glue and primer for the PVC pipe, but the poly pipe is all put on by compression fittings. All in all, it was pretty easy once I had the diagram of where I need to put different things. Rainbird made that extremely easy. So installing into the house water system was fairly easy. The only trick there was is make sure it has a backflow preventer on it, and then it just simply tied into the 1-inch PVC pipe to the outside valve. So I have 2 valves shutting off my system, one at the water source and one outside the house. Now that you know my system's been installed and how I installed it, let's go ahead and fire it up for the first time this year. I can give you a little bit more details on how it all works. Okay, here's my outside valve system. Real simple, the valve at the top controls water from inside. The valve on the bottom to the left is actually for the blowout. That'll always be off all year long till the end of the year, and he'll connect his hose and blow out my lines by turning that valve off. I've got this little stub that I took out of the ground. It's the main feeder line. I got a sprinkler on it now, not a big deal, but I'm essentially gonna put a sprinkler system along the back of the smokehouse because you know last year I put that yard work in. So I like to blow the air out of the line, so I'm just gonna go ahead and turn this head on because I know this is the last one on the line. Good start. We want the air blow out a little bit and then we'll try the other zones. Okay, first valve, let me show you what I got here. There she is. Kind of dirty in there, but it's not bad. I like to check and make sure there's no leaks in each valve box. Sometimes when it's real wet out, these are kind of full with water. Not a big deal. I try to keep the wires as high as possible, but they all have watertight wire nuts on it, so it should be pretty good. Put gravel on the bottom as you've seen in the pictures. 4 valves. Let's go ahead and test the first one. Okay, first one up is gonna be the outside north lawn. Everything seems to be working perfect. We'll give this 3 minutes. We'll check the next one. Okay, that zone was a 4-head unit, all 42As. So it shoots out up to 42 feet. Big area it covers. Okay, now we're gonna fire up the north inner. I believe it's 4 heads also, 42As. Ooh, I got wet on that one. So far, we're in good shape. Those 4 are fired up, no leaks. West front lawn, I think it's 5 or 6 32A smaller heads here. Okay, like I talked about, here's my ratio system. It's in the garage. I've got a 16 zone system, and I believe I'm using only 11 of them. Here's the cover, takes off. There's all my zones coming in. They all use one wire, and then each sprinkler head has its own wire. So if you have 12 sprinkler heads, you need 13 wires in your jacket. Okay, all 3 valves work good. In this particular box, that 4th one is actually irrigation. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, the other sprinkler box is right here, right by the hot tub. So I've got one by the smokehouse, one right here by the hot tub. Let's see what she looks like. So this box, I have 2 sprinkler head valves, and then I have 1 irrigation valve. Let's fire up the first zone. This zone has 5 32As. Okay, let's knock out the southeast lawn. This is big boy. I think I got 4 big boy 42As in here. Okay, look at this magnolia. Beautiful, beautiful bush. One of my favorites in Indiana. Final box. Okay, next one we're gonna test is the south lawn. It's my biggest, I think it's one of my biggest zones. It's got 5 42As, pretty much the max of my flow. Come on, baby. My biggest zone yet, 6 32As, the max with the 32As. I'll tell you one thing, I love spring in Indiana. It's the best part of Indiana. Other than that, the winters are horrible. We're not even in full swing yet. Give it another month, it'll be really gorgeous out here. No sprinklers out there. All the sprinklers are around the house portion, from this tree line all the way around the house. Okay, the best part about my irrigation system, what do you think it is? It's a basket, drip irrigation. Can't beat it. I love flowers, my wife loves flowers. Problem is, no one wants to water them. I got water ran to the baskets. You can see them dripping out right now. All 3 baskets, plus the 2 baskets in the front. So where else do I have irrigation? Let me show you real quick. If you guessed the smokehouse, you're exactly right. 2 hanging baskets, irrigation. Actually, all the plants around here all have irrigation because I want this to really grow up and look great. I also have additional flower pots there. I've got one up here too. In the final location, what we call the rose garden. Underground sprinkler system, definitely DIY. What do I regret? Absolutely nothing. What this one cost me? Pretty simple. I'm all in for just under $2,000. Can't beat that. Saved $12,000. That's why you do it yourself, for that reason alone. I love it. I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad it's done. Hope you liked the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.